I want a puppet of myself. Hey guys, how's it going? Let me tell you how I am. I'm looking at puppies, which is not a great place to be in, considering that I live in a space currently that does not allow me to have a dog, or a cat for that matter, and I'd love a cat. But I want a dog so bad, and I don't know why all of a sudden. I think it's because I had a dream last night that I had a dog, and so now I just like want a dog so bad, and I really have no reason to want a dog, but I really do. Maybe it's because I'm home a lot during the day, just like by myself. And so maybe I just crave companionship, you know? I don't know. But that's kind of where I'm at. Specifically, I had a dream that I had a little golden retriever dog, which as a child, I had a golden retriever, loved her. She was darling. I had a dream that I had a golden retriever named Birdie. And I think that's pretty cute, if you ask me, because if you don't know, retrievers were bred to retrieve birds. So, anyway, so that's where I'm at. But, anyway. Today, I just sort of am yapping. I don't know what to tell you. I do have a subject, and I actually didn't have a topic until like 5 minutes ago when Van and I started talking. Let me walk you through how we got on this topic. Van said something to the effect of, what did he say? Something like Tony the Tiger, you know, like the Frosted Flakes. I almost said Frosted Lakes, but you know what I'm talking about, the Frosted Flakes mascot. He like encourages furries on X, formerly known as Twitter, which I will from this point forward be calling Twitter. Don't at me on Twitter. Anyway, you can follow me on Twitter though. That's besides the point. Anyway, so Tony the Tiger, the Frosted Flakes mascot, if a furry like interacts with him on Twitter, I say him, whoever runs their social media account, it's like well received. Like they kind of encourage this, like people are like thirsty for Tony the Tiger, and yeah, they're like all for it. But if you try to do the same thing with Chester the Cheetah, the Cheetos mascot, he curbs it. Like whoever is in charge of that account does not let you tag him in like furry shit. Like he won't reply to it. Whoever it is won't reply to it. And so I thought that was kind of funny, but it got me thinking about the difference in like brands that do Gen Z advertising really well and brands that don't. I think when Duolingo like first got on TikTok, they were really, really, really good about their Gen Z advertising. Like their TikToks were funny. They didn't feel like you were watching an ad. Like they didn't feel like you were watching a brand. But now they've kind of gone a little too far. They've swung so far in the direction of trying to be like cool that they just don't land as much anymore. But back in the beginning, if you had asked me like who was a really good example of like Gen Z social media marketing, I would have told you the Duolingo TikTok. Like I genuinely thought that they were really good at that. They did a good job. They were on brand, they were on trend, like they were just good. And they were fun to watch. But yeah, like I said, they've kind of swung the other way now. The other one on TikTok that I think does this really well is Scrub Daddy. Scrub Daddy and, okay, I can think of a couple of them. Scrub Daddy does a pretty good job. The Mug Root Beer, is that what it's called? I think it's Mug Root Beer. Hold on. The Mug Root Beer account. Yeah, the Mug Root Beer account. They currently have an ad campaign going out that's got that dog in you, ? Which is objectively funny. Like, and it follows the trend of like the wolves and you got two wolves in you and everything. Like, it's just funny. They're doing a good job. The other one that comes to mind is the Drumstick, you know, like the ice cream brand. They do a pretty good job about being like, it's just chaotic enough that Gen Z people are like, fantastic. I love that. I will buy a drumstick now because that was amazing. Anyway, so was Mug Root Beer recalled? Oh. Oh, this was in 2024. Oh, it was recalled after 2,000 cases of Mug Root Beer cans actually contained Mug Zero Sugar root beer. Oh my. Anyway, because we all know if you are a zero sugar person or like a Diet Coke person, I don't understand it because it's not nearly as good. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, so yeah, some brands do the Gen Z marketing thing like really well. I'm even encouraging you to just go search for the Drumstick account if you haven't seen it on TikTok, because they are just funny and weird enough that Gen Zers are like, yeah, fantastic. We love that. I support that. And I'm the same way. Sometimes I send Waffles like from these accounts videos because they are so ridiculous and funny or whatever. And I just send them as if they're a normal TikTok. That's how good they are. But some do this very poorly. And I can think of two main ways that they do Gen Z marketing poorly. One is they hop on a trend like far too late. Sometimes I'll see an ad come out for something or other and it'll be like a meme that has not been around for 3 or 4 months. And you can tell that it's an older person running the like marketing side of things because they've kind of missed the mark. Like they're a little too late to the party, if that makes sense. And the other one is that they like woefully misinterpret the meme and the meme format, and they just do it either blatantly incorrectly or in a way that just like doesn't make sense, and you can tell it's someone who's not like a young person running the account because they've like completely misinterpreted the meme or like the meme format or whatever. Anyway, I can't think of any of those off the top of my head, though I know I've seen them. Usually the ones that I feel like miss the mark the most are like, I don't know how to explain this. I've seen a couple of like designer like clothing brands or whatever try to market this way, and it's just like, ugh. Like, you clearly don't get the humor, or like you don't get why the meme is funny, and so your version of it is not funny or whatever. But yeah, I think those are the two main ways that they just kind of miss the mark, and you can tell that it's not a younger person like doing the marketing. And I think you can see that a lot in the way that like brands on like Twitter or whatever reply to people. Because if the response is just a little too serious to something that's blatantly a joke, then you know it's an older person. Most likely an old person like doing it. It's not like a 21-year-old like replying. And the thing is that I don't know why brands don't understand this. People, at least like the people that they're advertising to, for most of the brands that I'm talking about, it's a younger generation. Their target demographic is a younger generation. And the brands that do the best are the ones that engage on their level. So like whether it's using the same meme formats or the same like TikTok sounds or whatever it is, replying with the same kind of humor, like whatever it is, they're the ones that do the best. The ones that are just kind of like, stuck in my ways, like I can't, that's not professional, we have to be a professional brand. They're the ones that people are like, okay, whatever. They're not memorable. Like they just don't have the same effect, in my opinion. So, anyway. I don't know. This is just kind of what I've been thinking about. I think, I don't know. I think we're so, like, suspicious of marketing anyway nowadays. Like, everything is marketing. And so even like if you're scrolling TikTok, for example, I never like a video that has a TikTok shop link on it. Like, I just don't. I don't like to be pandered to. Like, I don't like to be people begging on their knees for me to send them money. Like, I just don't like it. And so if that's all the content is, I don't engage with it. Even with things like sometimes the biggest creators or like people who start as small creators and then they sell out and they're clearly everything that they do now is for like ad money, it just kind of loses its charm to me. Like they as an influencer lose their charm, like they lose their appeal to me. And so I think the more natural an ad can seem or like marketing can seem, the better. So that's why like replying on Twitter when someone ats you as a brand and you like if they are adding you with some sort of humor and you reply matching that energy, it makes a lot more sense. Like you become a lot more favorable in their eyes than if you're like, no, I gotta be a professional business. I gotta reply like a professional and they gotta know that I'm serious and I mean business. Like, it's just not as cool. It's just not as memorable or engaging. I'm not saying it's a bad thing either if you are an influencer and you accept money to do ads or whatever. Whatever. I don't care. I think that's how you make your money for the most part. Cool. Whatever. But when that's the only thing you do, when clearly everything that you put out is to make money, that's when it's like, okay. And I don't get how other people are interested in that kind of content either, because clearly, like, they're being paid to say good things about a product. And so even if that product is shitty, this happens a lot in the makeup community. I can think of one in particular, and I don't know how to pronounce her last name, so I won't tell you who it is. But I can think of one in particular who got really big on TikTok. And she kind of sold out. She kind of like more or less everything she does now is for an ad. And you can't trust what she says because she will say, oh no, this is the best concealer I've ever used. And then you can see her like go to use it and it's a different product entirely. And so it's just like, okay. I think maybe I just hate ads. Is that what this is? Some ads are, again, good. I like a good Gen Z marketing strap, but maybe I just don't like ads. Maybe that's what it is. Is this going to come back to haunt me in like 5 years? Say this podcast takes off and all of a sudden I'm being sponsored by like HelloFresh or something. Someone clip this and at me when that happens because I'll be eating my words, I'm sure. But I don't know. I feel like at some point as an influencer, you gotta make a choice that's like, yeah, you can make more money, cool, but are you deceiving people? Not cool. Like, what's more important to you, I guess? And I think that's where a lot of people find fault with influencers anyway, is this idea that, like, they treat their audience as a cash grab instead of as an audience or as, like, real people. Who was the streamer lady who was like, oh, you can spend $5 on a sub, but you can't buy my merch or whatever? Like, who was that? Do you know what I'm talking about? You guys know what I'm talking about. I don't think that's exactly what she said. Something to that effect, where she was like, oh, you guys can't spend money on me. Like, you guys can't spend your hard-earned money on me. No, girl. Like, be for real. I just think that is such an insane, like, that's such an insane take. Like, that is such an out of touch take. And I do think that's why people, like, I think for me at least, that's why as soon as someone becomes, like, a full-blown influencer and it's clear that they're just in it for the money, I'm out. Like, I just am not interested in them anymore. They're just not fun anymore. And so, anyway, I think that's ridiculous. But that's all. You know what else is ridiculous? Sorry, it's just a lot of rambling, but let me tell you, because here's what else I think is ridiculous. The idea of making rich people more rich and famous, and let me walk you through that. I see people all the time who like get on TikTok, and the reason they get famous or they get a bunch of followers is because they're already rich. And so people are just watching them like flaunt being rich, but because they are watching them and following them and everything, they're just making more money. So I just don't, I feel like maybe this is just like a me thing, because I'm sure the argument is, oh, well, I want to live vicariously through them. Like, I want to see what it's like to be rich. Like, I want to know what it's like to hop on a plane every Sunday and go to Greece or whatever. Like, I want to know what that's like. And I get that. But you could be making actual talented people famous. Like, all of the people, for every, like, rich person who is already rich and gets more rich and famous, there's, like, someone out there with actual real talent and like whatever that talent is, who is getting like 2 views, right? And that you could say that about anything. So that's not like TikTok specific. I just think it's ridiculous that we live in a world where the things we want to watch are rich people. Especially because most of the people who watch and support the rich people are like the working class. They are like people who will never be able to afford that. And so, like, I just think that is not ridiculous. I think it's unfortunate. I think it's unfortunate that we live in a world that continues to make rich people richer and poor people poorer, essentially. This has taken so many turns. I don't even know. I don't get it. If you like to watch rich people on TikTok, whatever, that's not for me. That's not for me. But you know what I do like to watch on TikTok? And I might have to find it because he's really cool. There's this white guy he's like an older white guy, probably like 50s, 60s. And all he does is take videos, like makes videos of him like cooking food for a sorority. And he's like the nicest guy, and he just like is really passionate about making food for the sorority, and like that's his day job, and he really loves it, and it's clear that he loves it, and it's like, I love that. I love that guy. I watch every video of his because I think they're great. There's another guy who is very talented. He's on TikTok, and I think his is like north of the border or something like that. But he makes these like insane clay sculptures that are like genuinely mind-blowing. Like they're so good. And so I watch every video of his that comes up because I'm like, he's fantastic. He's so good. What else? Oh, there's a lady on there who makes puppets. I wish I knew her name too, but she has like a puppet of herself. And I want a puppet of myself. I want a puppet of myself. I also watched a video the other day of a lady who had like a marionette doll, but it was Dracula. I was like, I want him. I want one of those. How do I get one of those? I should just start clowning on TikTok, I think. Maybe I'll just make a clown alter ego and just like start making videos about me being a clown. You know what I'm saying? I gotta post more on TikTok anyway. Waffles asked me today even, where are all your TikTok clips? And I said, I don't know. I gotta hire me a Gen Z social media manager to put all those clips out there. Anyway, this took a lot of turns. I'm just running my mouth. But yeah, go look up the Drumstick account and the Mug Root Beer account on TikTok because they're genuinely funny. And they're doing a good job. Like, I could not tell you a single brand that has missed the mark in marketing, like, in this way. But I can 100% name you the brands who have done a good job, which I think says a lot. So, anyway, that's all I gotta say. Have a good day, I guess. See you next Tuesday. Oh, next Tuesday is Book of the Month. So I am a wee bit scrambling to finish my book just because I had so much going on. If you didn't hear from last week, I did judge a speech and debate tournament last weekend, and that kind of wiped me out. It was a little bit exhausting. So, anyway. So yeah, I gotta finish that. I gotta finish that book. Okay. Sorry, my phone's gone off. That's so unprofessional. Later, gamers. Säg varför du inte visste det.